Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's school board meeting. You would join me in the pledge. I've only gotten to do this twice, so I'm leading the pledge tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have one agenda change, and I would like to move our executive session up between old business and new business. And that's the only change I have. Does anyone else have a change? That way our attorney can not have to wait for the whole meeting. We have a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Recognitions. Bryce?
On behalf of Tyler, Brandy, and myself, there's a lot of people in the summer that put in a lot of work when we're not. And so just would like to recognize the custodial staff and the maintenance staff. The buildings and grounds just look unbelievable. Whenever I'm sitting at the stoplight thinking about life, I'm just glad I can look to the left and see how beautiful our facilities look. And so just a big thank you to the hard work of the team there and Adam's leadership. And then wanted to thank the tech staff. Again, turning over 700 students worth of computers is not an easy thing to do. And so kids are going to come back into the building and there's probably going to be kinks as always, but their percentage of success rate on getting machines ready for students is very high, and so grateful for them. And then just I'm grateful for the business staff, and we're all grateful for the business office staff in the summer because they do have to put up with us from time to time when we're working our 1 hours a day when they're putting in full days. And so I really appreciate them being responsive and helping us out when we need them. And so would like to recognize all of them on behalf of all of us. Would also like to recognize just the coaches and advisors in the summer. They do a lot. Our coaches are putting on weight room sessions, whether they're early in the morning or whether they're from 7 to 8 at night. And then they're taking kids to camps, running open gyms, open fields. And then our advisors are traveling with our students in our organizations, FFA, FCCLA, FPLA, Student Council. They're taking them places and either competing or helping them grow as leaders. And I just think, it's important to recognize that effort, and that just, it never stops for them. And so I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce. And Adam, Bo, and Brad, would you please let all your staff know how grateful we are for all the work they've done?
We'll put something on the webpage, won't we?
Thank you. Adam?
Thank you both. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to thank Julie Morris and Aspen Bloom. They both mowed for us all summer. Part of the reason why this looks the way it does is them girls never quit mowing. They're both off to college now, so now it's back to us. I sent out an email 2 weeks ago because I was told there was a board meeting. There wasn't a board meeting, as I found out. But I would like to thank CeeLo and Grace. So we got a short notice of, and we can delve into a little deeper if you guys want, of a meeting that was happening. And we had about 24 hours to get a bunch of stuff ready for them. And CeeLo was emailing like mad, and Grace was typing stuff up. Brad was on vacation, and he was answering the phone and trying to help us. So I do appreciate all of them as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Tyler?
Just to add to the coaches, sponsors, everything else, if you didn't know, Alan Von Eye is now the president of the Wyoming Coaches Association. So pretty cool to have at that state level a guy from Newcastle. So big shout out to him and all the stuff he's done over the years.
Awesome. Congratulations, Randy.
I would like to say a big thank you to the refinery. Par Pacific donated $10,000 to help us buy school supplies. So we were able with just their donation to buy supplies for all the kiddos, and I didn't have to tap into the little bit of extra I had put aside for that. So I know that's really important for our family. So appreciate it.
Thank you. That's awesome. Billy.
Okay, we attended the sale at the fair this year. We had 2 beef donated to us from Creticus Land. They've donated every year. Thunder Basin donated 1 beef, 1 pig. Deckers Food Center donated 2 pigs, and we take them to L Bar X in Buffalo, and they are going to deliver it for free back to us. So I'd like to thank all them continued supporters.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, thank you. That's all great news. Visitors' comments? Action items, the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. There is no old business, so now we will have a short, I promise, executive session. May I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved and seconded to move into an executive session under Wyoming Statute 16-4-405IX. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Patients, we are now on new business classified resignation.
Sorry, Madam Chair. I do have a recommendation to you, and it is the resignation of Nita Kilby as the elementary paraprofessional and permission to post.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resignation from Nita Kilby as elementary special ed paraprofessional and to post the position. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carried. Certified resignation.
I would recommend to the board the resignation of Tori Mobley as an elementary teacher.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the certified resignation from Tori Mobley as elementary teacher. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Certified transfer.
Yes, so I would recommend the transfer of Lolene Carter, and this would move her from the 1-year teaching contract, which we were under earlier, to an initial contract status, and then also ask permission to post for a para position to help support for larger class sizes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the certified transfer of Lolene Carter from a 1-year teaching contract to an initial contract teacher and to post a paraprofessional position to help support larger class sizes. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Classified recommendation.
I would recommend to the board Courtney McFarland as a special education paraprofessional.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the classified recommendation for Courtney McFarland as a special ed paraprofessional. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. E, revisions to policy GCJ-R professional staff time schedules.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, the reason I'm making that recommendation is that years ago when we changed the start of the school times of start for students, we did not make these revisions in policy, so we're asking to clean that up, if you would, please.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the revisions to policy GCJ-R. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Revisions to policy GCCAB, professional staff personal leave.
Yeah, and those are highlighted in your sections there, so I would just ask for approval for those revisions to that policy.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the revisions to policy GCCAB, professional staff personal leave. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. G, add exhibit form GCK-E2, WCSD number 1 administrator transfer request to policy GCK.
And again, it just to basically clean some language up there. And with that additional exhibit that would be added to that policy.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the additional exhibit form GCK-E2. Is there any discussion? Yes.
And the language on that instead of poor, where it reads just poor and, I had it right here. No, it was this other that we were reading.
Which line?
It says poor and minority.
Okay,
Describe poor, can we change that to students of low income and minority households? Instead of poor and minority students?
which line are you? I'm having trouble finding, or which
I
paragraph?
had moved, of course I moved this.
Oh, okay, I see, first line.
Yeah, I had it right here and then I moved it.
Where am I at?
Yeah, that actually sounds better to me too.
No, it's,
Or is
Page 25.
that
I had
language
it right
from the
on there and I had it
federal
highlighted
requirements?
and then I bumped it.
Yeah, go the other way.
Yeah, I think describe poor, should be,
Yes, definitely.
But
So
is,
you're.
students of
And that'll be right here.
First sentence, the district will
Yes.
take necessary actions.
poor and minority
Um,
should read something more like students of low income and minority households.
my only question is if the federal and state law uses that term, then we should too, I believe.
I mean, there wasn't no revisions to that one, but we can put it in maybe next time.
let me look into that.
What, next?
Shall we table that one until
Please.
we see? Could I have a motion to table that to the next meeting then, Suzie?
Go ahead.
The exhibit's not that, she's wanting the actual policy that.
It's actually it's
That was
GCK
what
policy.
we had changed.
Right.
Wants to, so we could still probably do the exhibit.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
We could
true.
add the GCK.
Yes.
the next,
then look at that.
Okay,
Under future.
yeah, next. report.
True.
you're right. Sorry. All right. May I have a motion to approve the exhibit?
The new store. This is the one-stop shop. We have a pharmacy. We have a bootlegger's liquor. The deli, the food that you can get at a lunchtime is so amazing. The coffee shop. Certain Friday mornings, there's 30 people sitting here in all these chairs. This is the hub for people to come and visit, have their coffee, have their donuts. It's amazing what this area has done. Totally amazing.
May I have a motion to approve the exhibit? Or was that,
Jason.
just, okay, sorry. Phew. I must need some of that natural caffeine. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Classified recommendations.
I would recommend to the board, Jared Bishop as a custodian.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the classified recommendation for Jared Bishop as a custodian. Is there any discussion? Yes.
Are we still shorthanded even with that? Are we good on the,
No,
okay.
I believe at that time then that should bring us up to full staff.
Excellent. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. 2025 and 26 Transportation Handbook.
No, Madam Chair. if
Oh,
you could,
sorry, I missed.
Could I recommend to you Wendy
Thank
McCary
you.
first?
Yeah,
And then we can do the handbook, I promise.
classified recommendation.
Move to approve?
I told you I need caffeine. It's been moved and seconded to approve the classified recommendation for Wendy McCleary as a bus driver. Is there any discussion? Yeah.
How are we on bus drivers now? Still,
I still think I still think that we're short. We're okay with routes.
Okay.
But we're a route short of where we were traditionally because we combined two routes and we haven't fixed that issue. But I think the biggest issue in front of us is still going to be an ongoing situation with like activities and activities that change. You know, you can't play football this Friday night, but you're going to go Saturday or vice versa. I still think that's going to be a challenge, but I think it was routes 8 and 9 that we combined. You guys remember? 9 and 11. Anyway, we still aren't back to that. But then I think when you start looking at where we are with student numbers, we may never go back that way again.
Mhm. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Now we'll do the transportation handbook.
And I would recommend the handbook, Madam Chair.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2025-26 handbook, transportation handbook. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Certified transfer.
Yes, so I would recommend to the board the certified transfer of Jolisa Wainscott from the district-wide speech language therapist to a district-wide special education teacher / case manager, special ed secretary for the time being, please.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the certified transfer from Jolisa Wainscott to from district-wide speech language therapist to district-wide special ed teacher, also fulfilling case manager duties. Is there any discussion? Oh, yes, were we going to post that position? We were waiting, I believe.
Let's wait on that.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay, just,
I would request that we table that at this time.
and we will have, BOCES will be providing,
We will have services provided.
services for speech for the district. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Administrators reports. Bo, have you been doing anything with computers?
well, thank you, Madam Chair. Yep. Well, first off, I do want to thank my summer crew, Mike and Marin. The undertaking in summer really is, it's a lot. And when you're touching every machine and you're doing repairs and all of that, it really is a lot. So I do appreciate them. And then, Sally was back today and jumped right in, getting teachers ready for Canvas, getting the auditorium ready for tomorrow. And like I said, I just want to thank them. I'm I'm grateful and I'm lucky to have the team I do, so I do appreciate them. So we did get everything pretty much updated to the new operating system. The reason we were kind of a little farther behind than we usually were this summer is that move to Windows 11 caused us to have to upgrade some servers to 19. So we had to do that. And then we also had to rebuild our radius, which is essentially how computers connect to wireless. So we had to rebuild that. So not only were we dropping images thinking everything was going to be good, well, it broke. We had to get the radius, so we had to touch every computer again to get them to connect to Wi-Fi. So we were pretty busy, but as of today, I mean, we're really close. I think we're just finishing up a couple in the middle school, and we should be right where we're at. Just this past week, I updated all our audio enhancement stuff, so our bells, our clocks, our paging. We were testing those today, and those look good. And this is for you, Madam Chair. I remember last time you were talking about not being able to find policies on the website. So up on the upper right side, I worked with Edleo, and there is a search that does a site scrape. So now you can type the policy, the staff member, type whatever you want. It'll site scrape it, and it'll pull up your search. So
Yay, thank you.
I know I'm a bargain. I do it. So other than that, unless there's questions, no, I'm extremely happy with where we're at. There was a lot of stuff that come up this summer that we weren't expecting, and we kind of just got it through, and I'm excited and ready to roll. So
Awesome, great. Any questions for both? Thank you.
thank you.
We'll skip to Angie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've just been working on, I got the state reports that were due August 12th. Those are all submitted and just getting ready for everybody to be back.
Any questions for Angie? Thank you. Sonia, what did you do this week?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Yeah, right.
I know what you did.
Kind of a blur, but yeah. We have started and kicked off pretty strong. I know I've spent a good amount of time kind of pre-planning and stuff to make sure teachers have everything that they need as far as resources and license, like digital licenses, teaching licenses back. And so that I think is running pretty smoothly. A couple hangups, but other than that, new teachers were able to get on. We started with that on Monday. So they are all set and as ready as they can be for the first day. I would like to extend the invitation for tomorrow at 8:30. We kick off the district welcome back. So all staff will be at the auditorium at that time. And there's breakfast before that. That's at 8 and then lunch afterwards. And yeah, I think you may really enjoy our keynote speaker this year. So this is the first year that I have had staff members contact me before the actual presentation to say, I'm excited to see this person. So that has never happened before. So I'm just saying, maybe you would like to come too if you can. So
And would you like to share? who
yeah,
that is?
his name is Devin Seibold. He is a former title teacher, I believe, and he is a comedian. So we're going to kick off the year with some laughter. So that will be going on. We've been working on, Brandy and I have been working on the consolidated grant kind of all summer long. That's been a little challenging because we usually get allocations probably May and the grant is due by July 1 and we did not have allocations maybe for some, but not all of our sub-grants within there until a couple weeks ago. So, and we're still kind of working through some challenges in that avenue. So there's that. And then
Would you clarify, is that a state or federal?
so this is a federal grant, so it includes Title I for basically to support low-income minority students and low achieving students, and then Title II, which is professional development primarily, and then Title IV, which there's 3 different sections of that component for a little bit of that. So yeah, and in fact, at one point in time, we had allocations for money, so I had done the budget, and then when we went to send it in, there was no money in there, so they had pulled it back, and So now it's back in, so I redid the budget. So, so anyway, that's been fun. And I think just lastly, I know that, we took, we get state testing data and accountability and school performance reports, that will come out pretty soon. They will be released, all that stuff to the public within the next couple weeks. So, I would assume kind of at the next board meeting, you'll have updates on where we kind of fell out from there for the 24-25 school year. So that kind of is a pretty high level summary, and that's all I have unless you have questions for me.
Any questions for Sonia? No, thank you.
Great, thank you.
Brand.
All right, thank you. We had a great start to a first day. It was really great to have staff back in the building. It's a big building and it's awfully quiet, which is Donna and I. So we were excited to have them there. We did have a successful summer school program. We ran the 2 sessions this year and it was a little bit different. Usually we run special ed and regular ed separately. We did them together and they combined and they worked with all the kids and it worked out really well. And so we had roughly 30 kids for both sessions. So yeah, it was a success. The book mobile went well. They both, Sarah and Susie both ran it this summer and they said they had more visitors than we've had in the past years and they were able to give out Totes for Hope bags too. So that was good. Enrollment's down. I, of course, will bring you more solid numbers next week or next board meeting, but just a rough deal if the transfers that we're anticipating come through, we're going to be under 300 and that's never been that way since I've worked here. And so that's a little sad and scary at the same time, but we did send up, a bigger class and, that kindergarten class is small. So that plays a large part of it. We got several new students, but not enough to make up for that weird fluctuation in class size. So, and we'll be doing our open house on the 19th at 6:00. You're all welcome to come check things out. We'd love to have you. So that's all I have unless you have questions.
No, thank you, Brandy. Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One thing that we've been doing, or I guess what we've been doing in the high school office, is introducing a new counselor to the job. Andrea Gregory has replaced Mike Gregory as the high school counselor, and I just think it speaks to the invaluable lesson, I think, of when you have a good student teacher or when you have a good intern, if you can keep them around, it makes that transition so much easier because they're already integrated with the staff, integrated with the building practices and policies. And so working with Andrea over the last week and a half has been really, everything's gone very smooth. She has great background knowledge of students and what their needs are, and as well as our systems that are in place. And so it's been a good start that way with Andrea. And then numbers wise, we're down from last year. Last year we started the school year at 234. Today when I left the office, we'll start at 223 if we don't get any more, ins or outs between now and then. And so looking a little bit down, but I think our staff is excited and ready to work with students. There's a lot of really good energy in our meeting this morning. And so regardless of the negative of that, they're very excited. And the light was green when I drove over the bypass for the first time today on my way to work. And so, as you guys see, I'm having a real long summer with the light. But I told the staff that that's an omen that it's going to be a really good year because I just drove straight over.
Yeah. That's a game we've all been playing, I think.
Yes.
Hit the green light.
In addition to the weekly printed version of the newsletter journal, we also promote our community and share important information on our award-winning website, newslj.com, and in our weekly email newsletter, Nuke Now. We also connect with readers through various social media platforms and invite you to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can even take a look at a recent meeting of the City Council, School Board, or County Commission on our YouTube channel. We do hope that you will go to newslj.com and subscribe today, and we look forward to making all of our great content available to you. But regardless of your level of support, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for doing your part to preserve a free and independent local press.
Tyler.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, echo everything they said. We're still processing a lot of moving in and out as far as students. I told the leadership team this yesterday. One thing I would point out, we have a lot of students that are choosing to re-enroll with us that had been going virtual school and some of those things. So take that piece of information for what it's worth. I actually think this will be the biggest the middle school has been since I've been principal, not ever, but we're going to be real close to 200 kids in the 3 grades, and so that it'll be kind of interesting to see that dynamic in our hallways and everything else, but so we're excited. Would invite you guys to the new student night tomorrow. We do an open house tomorrow at 5:30, and then at 6 o'clock I get everybody together in the auditorium and try to go over expectations and all those things. Some of you guys have been in there as parents already, but you're always welcome to attend again. And then would just point out again some of the work we've done, Bryce and I, and at the middle school and the high school, the jump start that happens next Tuesday for the 6th graders and the 9th graders. You guys are welcome to come to any and all of that. Pinnacle Bank's going to do the grilling this year. Donnie Stevenson's got trainings and things going on, so he's got to take a year off, but Amy and the gang at the Pinnacle Bank will step in for us. But I was telling a 6th grade parent the other day, this is kind of my favorite time of year because when the 6th graders came in last week and got lockers and everything else, they're just terrified. They're just so scared and nervous. And by the end of the day that Tuesday, they just walk out, heads held high, like they run the school. And so whatever we're doing, it's working. And I'm really proud to just watch that in just a week, the way these guys already kind of start moving from elementary school to really feeling confident in the middle school. So if you want to see some of that Tuesday, you're welcome to jump in and attend.
Any questions for Tyler? Thank you.
Thank you.
Adam?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I actually have good news that don't ever happen in the maintenance department. I don't remember when, 3 weeks ago, we got a phone call from the SCD asking for a bunch of information on our chiller. They were going to put into the SFC for some, I'll call it emergency money, so we could buy a chiller because a new chiller is 16 to 18 weeks out. So I went down to that meeting. They did approve us for $214,761, which is the cost of a new chiller. We haven't ordered that yet. Hopefully by the end of this week, we have the final piece, which is a DAL, a director's approval letter is what it stands for. And as soon as we get that, we'll put in the longs, we'll order the chiller. That's only for the chiller unit. That's no work that goes with it. The SFC also approved $4,703,381.50. That they approved that for money next summer for a new HVAC system all the way through the high school. Now that still has to go in front of the legislators. I gave you guys, there was just a single piece of paper. They said those first 19, they don't expect anything to be, the total bill was 31 million for those first 19 projects throughout the state. They said they don't foresee the legislators turning any of those down. So if that's true, next summer, hopefully we get an all new HVAC system all the way through the high school. That money can only be used for that. Any money that's left, that's those 3 projects on the bottom. So if it costs us 3 million, they get an extra $1 million to go after a different project as well. Hopefully, so in the years past, we would never get the money until, if the legislators approved it, you wouldn't get the money until July 1st, which would not give us, my argument was we don't have enough time at the 1st of July to get contractors' parts, so we wouldn't actually do it for another year out. It won't make it that long. So they're hoping the day the governor signs off on it, they will tell us to get started and we'll start rounding contractors up, parts and pieces. And we'll have a lot that rounded up beforehand anticipating. So if it all falls into place, it'll look good. And if it don't, we'll do what we do. Any other questions? I guess that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you.
Nice job.
Mr. LaCroix.
So, Madam Chair, just so you know, and really Adam downplays that quite a bit, but part of his baptism by fire has been working with this group. And, and I do want to recognize him for taking that time. But also, when he's new and he can tell them how complex the system is as a newbie, I think it helps them that have been there a while to start to understand that maybe the system really isn't as sound as they thought. But again, I'm hopeful that those things work out. And I think it would put the district in really, really good shape a year down the road when you start talking about major maintenance and you start talking about 10% money and parking lots and those kinds of things. I don't have quite the optimism that with the aquatic center, but let's say we're still working on that, and I will have a report for you later on that, but not at this board meeting. Sort of mentioned before, but I'm going to say it again. Tomorrow, if you can join us, Pinnacle Bank does the cooking, and they also pay for the meat. All the setup is done by Deckers. And the other thing, Chris and Herb French recognize our new teachers, and I believe they get a $500 check to sort of, get them, whether it be with utilities or clothes or, just a big thank you for choosing Weston One with your starting point. I'm not as fortunate as Bryce with the green light. I just simply don't go that way. But with that said, I think when you look around, we've had quite a few new vendors this summer stop in, and I think they all are very impressed with our facilities, the ability to take care of those. But I think the biggest challenge in front of all of us is still going to be our student numbers, folks. And it's just not a one, you can't just say, well, it's a homeschooling or a virtual school or da, 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 da. It's just that I think this neck of Wyoming is getting older. And as we get older, our kids sort of grow up and then they become the number one export next to fossil fuels. And they sometimes don't come back. And so we are still going to have to work very closely as a team on how are we going to keep programs for our young people. And that does include activities as well as the classroom, because as you get smaller, things will start to give away. It's just a matter of numbers. And so with that, if you can make it tomorrow, that would be great. And set, go. Here we are.
Any questions for Brad? Thank you, sir. Board reports? Nope. Nope.
Hopefully somebody got a vacation.
Oh,
no.
I will tell you this, one of the legislative committees has, put the, board chair on their agenda without consulting, as they, without asking, they have sort of demanded, presence of the WEPT board chair and the WISBAIT board chair, everybody that has to do with employee insurance as they tackle that in recalibration. So that's really the only news I have for WEPT. Future agenda items. We will look at, if you would find out if that wording, if we have to use that wording or if we can change it on GCK, that'd be awesome. Anyone else have a future agenda item? Our committees. Yeah. I will have a better handle on that for next time, I promise. I started on that and then I sort of dropped the ball because I was snuggling the new grandbaby. Sorry. Discussion items. Concealed carry policy. And it is, I noticed the example we had here that would give us the information we need to get liability insurance. called it concealed carry, but in the statutes, it's concealed carry. And when you get a permit, it's concealed carry. So we would want to change that, but. Does anyone have any comments on this policy in your packet?
Madam Chair?
Pat.
I do have just one question, and I was thinking about this. In my opinion, I think we really should sort of ask law enforcement, you know, the first responders, maybe for some feedback, because there's an assumption of risk on both sides here, and part of my concern is, and it's always been this way, is, you know, what happens if you shoot somebody that's on your side? You know, you choose to help protect. I understand that. I respect that. But in also understanding that we are putting law enforcement at some degree of risk as well. And then I was thinking of some of the training. If I were one of the trainers, I'm not sure I would want to sign off on the idea of that assumption of liability coming back on me as the trainer. I always have this nightmare. What happens if you got a student teacher that was so bad that you knew they should never be in front of the classroom, but you didn't want to be the roadblock? What happens if you're doing the firearm safety and you have somebody that's so bad that you know they shouldn't be carrying? Are you the one that gets to tell them that they shouldn't carry?
I assume that's the sheriff. Is that correct?
I don't think I'd do it as well. I'm out of my lane. That would be a great question for Brian Colvart.
Well, and this does include, this sample does include training, which we don't need in order to get the liability insurance, from what I read. I tried to, there's a lot of information in that 37-page insurance company policy. But I believe even without the training and the instructor qualification part, we would have enough information here to have liability insurance. Is that what you think too? Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
So are you saying just with a copy of the valid concealed carry permit and notifying the supervisor in writing? That's all we would need in order to.
And keep the firearm on their person at all times while on school property.
It's concealed, you have to, I mean.
Well,
yeah, I know, sometimes,
yeah.
but.
So the complete the training with the police department, I would more than happy to take that out and then take out the instructor qualifications and keep the rest.
And leave the firearms being only used in non-compliance.
So if we rewrite this to include that, would that be suitable?
Madam Chair? Brad, do you feel it's necessary for the policy, or do you still feel the same way about?
I work for you and you just tell me what I need to do. No, I'm not in favor of the policy, but that's, I've made that statement, and I think it's now in the board's hands. And I do agree with Madam Chair and Abby. There are two ways of looking at that. I'm not saying that that's not true. I just don't know how the policy really benefits us besides just the insurance thing. And at the end of the day, I don't think an insurance company is going to be there if you have a wreck anyway. But that's just, I haven't had a lot of luck with insurance companies.
Well,
That's just, I haven't had a lot of luck with insurance companies.
Well, for example, we have one now paying some attorney's fees for us in another matter. And that alone can be a huge expense if there's a problem. So the policy is 36 pages long. Did everybody get it or just me? Yeah. So if you read that, these are the things that would allow us to have the liability insurance. And we don't need to have the training. Or did you see that in there?
Didn't.
Okay. I didn't see that there was a training requirement. So I will edit this and we'll have it on our next board meeting then. All right. Does anybody have anything else to come before the board tonight? If not, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Eat cake.
No, it'll be a big sign.
Eat cake.
Starting to get cold.
I know.
Anybody need to use the restroom or anything? Oh, wait.
Brad got up, so I was just following. Two. Thank God, Brad, go with you. Follow Brad. They're talking about pay.
I'll call the Eastern Weston County Recreation Board to order. You have an agenda in front of you. I do not have any changes. Do I?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Agenda's approved. Recognitions. I do not have any, but does anybody else have any recognitions at the moment?
I think we already said last week, but Kathy's done with the pool. She was the pool manager forever, so just recognize her service.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that. Is there any other recognitions? Seeing none, moving on to visitors' comments, staff input, and special programs. Seeing none, moving on. You have action items. You have a consent agenda in front of you. Do I have been properly moved and seconded? Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is passed. Have no old business, new business. Do I have a recreation director, pool manager recommendations? Do I have a recommendation? Who gives recommendations for this board? Hey, Brad.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You had a recommendation for item 3A. Recreation director, pool manager.
I would say whatever I recommended to you in the packet, Mr. Chair. What did I tell you?
Perfect.
Move to approve and seconded. Too
Been
late.
properly moved and seconded for the recommendation for the board to approve combining the rec director and pool manager's position into one position and having Therese Gross cover both job duties. Is there any discussion on this? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same sign. Motion's carried.
Mr. Chairman, I would say thank you, Teresa, for taking both of those jobs on.
Very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And if I could, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I need to apologize, but here's one of those areas I was once told by our attorney that I should never, ever make advice to the rec board because the rec board is not the school board. I am hired by the school board. And so when asked, it's always tough. I mean, if you're going to sit here, yes, you have an opinion. And then you got to be careful in how you express that opinion. But I'm not sure if I can legally make that recommendation, but I would tell you that somebody has to. And, okay, then, Mr. Chair, I would say that I overstepped my bounds and that should have been your recommendation. And I
Perfect.
apologize.
Thank you. Nope, that was my lack of understanding of this as well, so. Thank you for that. We're gonna move on to item 3B. I have a recommendation to approve winter pool hours. The recommendation will be approving to change the pool hours to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday evenings from 5:30 PM to 8:45 PM and Saturday and Sunday from 1 PM to 5 PM. Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion on this? Teresa?
I have one item. So after thinking Saturday and Sunday, we often have pool parties and they want to come in at noon to set up. So I wanted to kind of pull that back and leave it at noon to 1. The Monday, Tuesday, Thursday's perfect, but maybe just keep that noon to 1 since we'd have to have a guard come in early. And then if somebody does come in for lap swim, because we have parties almost every weekend.
Okay, so I know we got a motion on there. Can I get that amended?
I will amend that to from noon to, right, from noon to 5, yes.
Thank you. Does the second carry on that? Perfect. Any other discussion on that? Billy?
Just curious, do you see a lot of traffic after 8 to 8:45? Or is that more cleaning and?
Yeah, there's not a lot. The kids are usually taken out of the pool at 8:30 and then they close
Okay.
and do all the money.
I just seen 8:45 and that was kind of a weird number, so.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, same. Motion's carried. I have nothing for your information. We got something under discussion items unless you got something else. We'll move on to discussion items. Okay, we'll move on to discussion items. Teresa?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of ideas to generate a little revenue for the pool. And I know that people have asked for private lessons or private parties. And that would be maybe a way to allow community use, and make them pay a little more for a private party to justify having lifeguards that way, if there are lifeguards that want to work a little bit extra. And then actually swim lessons, because they want swim lessons year round. When they only get them in the summer, they kind of lose it, except for the elementary lessons.
Okay.
I don't know if this would be a legal question, but private lessons, but they would be paid through our budget.
Well, they pay the pool for the private lessons. So instead of having a group lessons of 10 kids, they'd ask for.
Pay for.
Yeah. They don't pay the guards the money. The pool gets the money.
Okay.
But they would be more of a one-on-one lesson with somebody instead of multiple kids.
Got anything else on that, Jason? Tyler?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So with these private pool parties and stuff, would we still be wanting to do like the deposit thing that we had for even the use of our other facilities?
I would say so. It's in place for all of our facilities pretty much.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and I'm actually working on even just generic pool parties. Right now, they don't even sign anything. They come in, they do the party, and sometimes they clean up, sometimes they don't. So I'm doing that too to kind of alleviate our staff.
Any other questions on that? So do we need to move that for future action item for next time to be able to approve that? Can we?
Just two quick thoughts. I think one thing you might want to do is double check with Abby and double check with your insurance with the idea of the private piece of that. And I don't know exactly what I'm talking about there, but I don't know for sure how that works, and then you're going to be the decision maker on what is allowable and what is not. You're going to let her group but not my group. You know, what is that criteria for private? I just have a vision in the back of my head that's not real good, so I'll keep it to myself.
Yeah.
I think it would also be during our hours, like it wouldn't be the private or so when we're open at night, if we're not busy, you know, I'm going to generate swim lessons, but if somebody has a child that maybe doesn't do well with groups and wants to have a lifeguard do a one-on-one lesson with that kid, that's where I'm envisioning it.
So here's my question. He's my PE teacher and I don't want to do swimming during PE because I want you at night. So now the teacher's got to do something different for that kid during the school day because those lessons aren't good enough.
Do you want, I see kids sitting in that don't do swim lessons. So how do
I
you?
think you could add to that number.
Okay. Which is why.
I just could see it. I mean, I see it in other sports. I mean, I can remember years ago, you would go by a gym on Friday and the whole football team was sitting there watching everybody because we didn't do gym on those days. Well, that was a nightmare if you're trying to teach. It was really a nightmare if you were a sub. I really do think that if it's going to be private, that the parent has to understand that they're also, the regular lessons will happen as well. I don't think it's an opt-out. I think we probably should ask maybe some people before we jump with that one, because I'd hate to see it come back and be more work for the board than what it's worth.
So, Teresa, can I have you get a hold of Abby before next week? Just kind of touch base with her to see if it's legally doable. If you can. Okay, thank you. And then if it is doable, we can still put it on the agenda and discuss it further then. So
maybe a word change in some of that usage policy.
Do you want me to give you my email address or I can give you my cell number now? What do you prefer?
I can give it to her afterwards.
yeah, we could get it afterwards, Abby. So
Okay. And Brad has all my contact information too. He can connect us if not to throw something else onto Brad's to-do list, but it's been thrown, Brad.
perfect. Thank you, Abby.
Yep.
Anything else on that, Teresa? Has anybody else got any questions on that now? Hammer? Yeah, I've got nothing else for you. So unless anybody's got anything, Teresa?
Just to let you know, I won't be at the next meeting because I'll be in Mexico because my daughter's having a baby.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Anytime, probably I leave next Thursday. So.
Okay.
Well, they're saying Monday. So we shall see.
Well, congratulations on that. So, alrighty. Nothing else. Meeting adjourned.